put all your certificates they call it put it in a soldier box. Really military gave me, which I won't really regret, is able to finish the task.
Was life working in the defense force as a nurse?
In combat.
Wow.
Trying to save life and at the same time bring security to the country. So that was a very two different lines, but they can work well when there's discipline. Some of us, we were even in Al Shabaab areas in Somalia. Yeah, like me, I went there in 2010. Wow. When there was Linda Inchi, where the president declared that we have to keep our boundaries safe from Al Shabaab menace. After being in military as an employee of the Kenya Defense Force, I wouldn't really see any employer who will really satisfy my needs or satisfy my curiosity within. Do a research by yourself.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, if I go to this country, what would be the process? If I go to this country, what is the process? She was practicing as a nurse in Kenya, having had qualification as a diploma from KMTs as well.
Hello guys, welcome once again to my channel and thank you for joining in to watch this video. Please consider subscribing and also please consider hitting that notification bell so that anytime I post a new video you're able to get notified. So the topic for today is about how to move to Australia as a registered nurse, or how to move to Australia already working as a nurse overseas and you want to come here maybe to study or to further your studies or to also work as a nurse here. So today I have a very good friend of mine here who was working as a registered nurse back in Kenya, and he moved to Australia, and he'll be able to give us maybe the leeway or the step by step on how to do it, on the process to follow for you to move here and also be registered as a nurse in Australia. So without any further ado, please allow me to let him introduce himself. Welcome very much, Kevin. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Brother Felix. I'm happy to have an interview or somehow give information through your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
To start with, I've been in Australia for nearly 4 years, and I would say I don't regret having to make that decision to come to Australia. Let's go direct to the topic or the subject of discussion.
So maybe before going to the topic, please maybe just tell us about yourself.
Okay.
Where you grew up, how your life was, and how you made it up until you became a nurse back in Kenya.
All right. Yep. So I was born in Kisumu County, and I just went through public and primary education and public secondary education, just like any other kid in the village. And life was tough, just like every Kenyan faced challenges here and there. So through the lifestyle which we had, which was not as good as we expected, it gave us motivation, or it gave me motivation to work hard and try and make a change for myself and possibly for my family. So I graduated in Kenya MTC, Kenya Medical Training College, that is KMTC, Kakamega campus, in the year 2007.
Oh, long time.
That is a very long time, yes. So I started my job as a very junior RN in Aga Khan, Kisumu.
Okay.
And in Aga Khan, Kisumu, I worked with a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine called Mr. Dan. Dan is currently, I think, in Namibia. So I was employed in Aga Khan, Kisumu, January 2008, at the peak of post-election violence.
Oh.
So I got a job there, and I was introduced to surgical ward, and I remember it was a very challenging job because we handled some patients with gunshot wounds at that time. Then I didn't work so much in surgical ward. I was moved to ICU, and I remember the nurse director then was called Grace Ogot, and Mrs. Ogot, and she passed on. May her soul rest in peace. So maybe somehow I can't really tell how she noticed the potential on me and placed me to work in renal unit after like 3-4 months in critical care experience. So in renal unit I met a nurse who was running the unit. His name is Dan. Dan is a still good friend of mine. We still do chats in Facebook.
Yeah.
So we worked in renal unit, and I did renal nursing in Aga Khan, Kisumu for a year. Then opportunity came, and I joined Kenya Army as a military nurse.
Wow.
And went through normal military training, just like any military guy will do some training.
Yeah.
Then I got posted in Memorial Hospital, which is in Bagadi Road. So I worked in Memorial Hospital. It's called Defense Forces Memorial Hospital. It's from 2010 to 2017. So that is close to 8 years of service in the military. Yeah. A very nice employer, and we had very nice management. And I remember we joined, so many of us, very young, optimistic, and very people with ambitions to do the nursing work, which has been very nice job anyway.
So was it easy for you to join the military, or was it a process that had to be followed? Or
I remember when I was in Aga Khan, Kisumu, they advertised in the newspapers.
Yeah.
That was around. It's either beginning of 2019 or late 2018.
Yeah.
So they wanted registered nurses to join the force, and I applied.
Yeah.
And I think it was good luck, and of course God was part of the process, because my first application, and I succeeded, and I can tell you it was like a surprise, because military was like something that every other guy wanted to join. Yep. So we went for our interviews and selection criteria and processes, which we had in Langata.
Yeah.
Then here I am. We got letters for invitation to go in military training in RTS, which actually I did report 1 week after I was selected, or I was passed the interview.
Oh, just 1 week?
Just 1 week. So that really almost made me had a conflict with my former employer, which I can. But I explained myself, and the management was able to understand that these things that sometimes you really don't have control of. Yeah. So I went to RTS Eldoret. It was a tough military training, trying to be a military officer from a civilian.
Wow. How long did it take, the training?
We started our training, I think, in April. Then we graduated, all passed out in November.
Oh, that's 6 months?
Nearly December, last week of November. So it's around 6 months.
6 months.
Very intense, tough, a lot of exercises, and you're taught so many things, and discipline was the key. And we had very tough instructors, of course. The instructors were not laughing.
Yeah, it was really tough.
Very tough.
So you were just on the same training with
any other person. Other people? Like you go there, you put all your certificates. They call it, put it in a soldier box. Yeah. You put it aside, and you just forget about what you learned. Whether you have your master's degree, diploma, you are the same. And
you are all kurutus now.
You are all kurutus, and tough life, trying to go through the physical exercise training and understanding the weapons and just how military works. It takes time.
So that really shaped you, I believe.
Oh my goodness, I think it made me even who I am today. The discipline part of it, and the part that I'm able to persevere so many hurdles or try to be resilient in challenges. Really, it shaped me.
Yeah.
And to be especially time conscious with my stuff,
Yeah.
and to be able to, what really military gave me, which I won't really regret, is able to finish the task you are assigned to. Very important. You can apply military life in so many aspects on your daily living. So it was a very, very good opportunity for me, and I will encourage young boys and young girls who have ambition to join our dear defense forces to not hesitate to do it. So we did training, and yeah, that was really part of a different lifestyle for me.
So after that, how was it the same practicing nursing? Was it really the same thing that you were doing before? It was a different thing.
So yes, when we had our training and we passed out and had a parade, and we are now given 2 weeks off before us rejoining the forces, because after training you go for some off, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we had our 2 weeks close to Christmas. Then we went back. So we went to a place called Embakasi. That is where the medical battalion was.
Yeah.
So medical battalion basically did our placement, because like every military unit has their small hospital, or I would call it level 1 or level 2, level 3 hospitals,
Yeah.
which I call MRS.
Oh, MRS.
MRS, the short form. So it's medical something station.
Yeah.
So MRS is like a health center or dispensary setup, which now the military personnel are deployed.
Yep.
So that at least all the military barracks have a hospital or health facility that can respond to soldiers and their families' medical needs. So I was so that is the time we take time in medical battalion, which is based in Embakasi that time, and they do placement. So we were like over 60.
Yeah.
We had nurses, we had physiotherapists, we had clinical officers, we had lab technicians. So we were quite a multidisciplinary team, and even nutritionists were there, and people dealing with health records.
Yeah.
So we were, after like 2 or 3 months in medical battalion, we are being now deployed to various units.
Okay.
And that is when I was posted after that to go and work in Bagadi.
Yeah.
That is Defense Forces Memorial Hospital. It's known as Memorial Hospital, Bagadi Road.
Is it the Memorial Hospital? Is it just for the defense force, or
Yeah,
for the
Memorial
public?
Hospital is for
Only defense force?
We not only defense force, but sometimes we accept emergency cases,
Okay.
even from the civilian population.
Yeah.
And sometimes they used to have even police force members, but I don't know, things change, so I'm not so sure what happens. But majorly is for the defense forces and their family members.
Oh, wow.
So their kids, their spouses.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So how was life working in the defense force as a nurse?
It was so fulfilling, because the first thing I know is you're working as a soldier.
Yeah.
All the training we were told you are soldier first, then other things second.
Come first. Wow.
So the discipline is still the same, and the protocol and following the procedures and everything of the military was still the same. But now you are a medic in combat.
Wow.
Trying to save life and at the same time bring security to the country. So that was a very, very two different lines, but they can work well when there's discipline in it. So we were just, Memorial Hospital is basically it's a tertiary hospital, which was like a referral hospital. By then it was the major referral hospital for all defense forces and personnel, which could be referred all the way from Eldoret to Isiolo, all northeastern to Memorial. So it was actually the last resort for our defense forces.
Oh, wow. So you're the people walking behind our military people back in Kenya. You're the people we really have to celebrate. You know?
So even some of us, we were even in Al Shabaab areas in Somalia. Yeah, like me, I went there in 2010 when there was Linda Inchi, where the president declared that we have to keep our boundaries safe from Al Shabaab menace.
Yeah.
So I was among the first people to go, actually. So I saw it in first front, so we could be able to bring our soldiers again to Memorial for those who may have got some injuries. And yeah, it was challenging, but that is what we were meant to do.
Wow. I believe that really made you be the person you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will say it was tough, but nothing is easy.
Yeah.
So through that, then the nursing practice in the military is just the same, just like other places, but the discipline, then the chain of command is quite different.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Memorial Hospital, since it is a hospital, you also deal with other staff from other departments like records, not only medics, other departments like, of course, kitchen, or I would say cafeteria or things like that. And we have IT personnel there. We have people dealing with the human resource issues there, and they're still military guys. So it is a whole home of team.
A whole team. Yeah.
Yes,
Wow,
yes,
wow.
yeah.
So what made you to maybe to change your maybe to just move out of the military and decide you are moving to Australia? Maybe you can take us through that.
Oh yeah. So I think it reached a point where you sometimes just want to change your life,
Yeah.
and you sometimes, if you feel you're not gaining anything different,
Yeah.
then you can just take a break and realize, do I really want this life, or do I just want to try something different? So I think that is the point I reached. I think I'd already got it to satisfaction, and I just wanted something different.
Different. Yeah.
And I noticed, or I realized that after being in military as an employee of the Kenya Defense Force, I wouldn't really see any employer who will really satisfy my needs or satisfy my curiosity within Kenya, because I was either to go back to private employment,
Yep.
or I will go back to maybe hospital like Kenyatta, or go to government hospitals. But after being in the military and the standards are high and you've learned so much, you think you want to go higher than that.
Yeah.
And that is when the thinking and the mindset of coming to Australia started. In the beginning, I didn't really have the mind to start with Australia, to be honest. It was just getting out of Kenya to one of the first world countries for me and for my kids, and just to make something different. So I really had like three countries to choose from: UK, US, and Australia. Yeah.
So for anyone that shows that never get comfortable wherever you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. For him, he was there. Everyone really wished he had that life you had in the military, but you never got comfortable.
No.
You wanted to go higher.
No, at least this is what I can tell young guys and young boys, young girls, and young boys out there. Sometimes when you've realized you've reached the peak of what we are doing in that particular place, if you have an opportunity to try something else, go higher. Go for it. Don't start thinking of, oh, how will I do it? We don't have this option. How will I manage this? And how will I be able to achieve this? So think of something different and always aim higher. Don't go low. If you go low, that is not good. But it's good to take a risk. Sometimes risks work, sometimes they don't work. But if you plan well, and of course you pray for them, the risk you're putting, and you work towards it, and you focus your mind on it, most of the time you succeed.
Go through, Yes. And if you don't try, nothing will come out.
Exactly.
Yeah. The moment you try, even if it fails, at least next time you try again, you'll start from somewhere.
Exactly.
You'll not start from.
It's always a learning process.
It's a learning process.
If you don't succeed, it's a learning lesson or a part of the learning. If you succeed, the better.
So okay, now you can take us through now after deciding that you want to move to Australia. How was the process, and maybe you can take us through that, because that's really our main topic for today.
Yes. So my case can be a bit unique because my spouse, my wife, is also a nurse. And she was practicing outside the military, so she was not in the system, I would say military system. So we calculated our risks, and we tried to look at what can work for us. And by that time we had two lovely kids and they were young. So what I will tell anyone out there is, information, first of all, is so much in the Google. If you're curious to know, and this is also part of the information we're trying to share. First of all, do a research by yourself.
Yep.
Ask yourself, if I go to this country, what will be the process? If I go to this country, what is the process?
Yeah.
So coming to Australia, we decided, me and my wife, that she's the one who is going to come as a student, and I will join her as a spouse. So because she was practicing as a nurse in Kenya, having had qualification as a diploma from KMTs as well, she was able to use one process. And this process is very important, and this is the part I want every listener to pay attention to.
Exactly.
So what we did, and that is, I'm talking about something which we did 3-4 years ago. So things might change, but we should have an idea.
Yeah.
So we went to a particular agent in Westlands.
Yep.
There are very, very many agents. Also do your background check and know which agent is very, very official, and does not have any conning issues.
Exactly.
So we got this particular agent in Westlands, and after that, before we went to the agent, actually we did a background check, and we had a list of what we really needed. So we went to the agent in Westlands, and the agent took us through the process, but surprisingly enough, we already had the information. So we just needed the who to do it, not the how to do it.
So you already had done your
Background check,
so
yes.
you knew everything. Also, the only thing that you wanted someone who would just support you to
exactly
do it.
Somebody who can now implement the vision we had.
Wow.
And when we went to this particular agent, and they were so nice, they gave us information. First of all, you really need to have your documents right. That is
So
one
what
thing.
documents do you need?
So for example, in this case, if you want to come to Australia, first of all, because it is academic related stuff, you're not coming for holiday, you're not coming as a tourist, so you really need to have your papers
Academic.
very well prepared. From high school certificates, that is KCSE, to college certificates, that is, for example, transcripts, school living certificates or college living certificate, and of course you'll have to need your graduating certificates to show that you have that diploma. Then something that we really need to know for viewers is, by that time they were asking for at least 2 years of experience in your field of nursing. So you need to have an updated CV and a letter from your employer to show that you've been working, and that letter should be so detailed in such a way that it covers even the number of hours you are able to do in a fortnight or in a week. That gives them an impression of how many hours you've done in your total experience.
Wow.
So those are very important ones. Of course, you need passports. That goes without saying. Then of course, agent fee, that is something which keeps on changing. So the agent fee will always tell you how much. But most agents are very welcoming, and the first day you go there to give information, most of the time you don't pay.
But consultation fee.
Consultation
it's always
fee,
free.
always free. They are very, very willing to help. So we did go. The agent gave us a list. We started working on that, and that is also part which you really need to be very, very honest with your paper, so that you don't have issues with the immigration. So you get your papers right, then you give them to agents. So once agent has seen all the papers you need, the agent will have to contact the university. So for those who are coming with a diploma from KMTs, for example, there is only one or possible way of coming, and that is coming as a 1-year student, and you're gonna start as a 3rd-year student. So you don't do the 3 years course, you only do 1-year course. It's called conversion.
So it's a 1-year
It's a 1-year course.
Wow.
So that is 2 semesters to say. Then that one is able to help you get your registration by our regulatory body here. So we went through that. Then agent was able to identify the school. And what people should also realize, or what people should also know before they apply for this thing, is try and find out which city you want to go.
Yeah.
Because there's Melbourne, there's Sydney, there's Canberra, there's Adelaide, there's Perth, there's Brisbane. So if you want to come to Australia, just do a background check and ask yourself which kind of city suits your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Some cities are busy, but you can easily survive. Some cities are less busy, but again, how is it going to help you attain whatever you want to come and do?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we did the background check and we wanted Perth.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying this is that what I realized from my own experience is different agents are able to take you to different cities.
States,
Yes. So if you want to go to certain states, there may be specific agents who can only take you there. Not
state,
all agents will take you to every state. Because they are attached to local universities, and local universities depend on where it's located. So in this case, we got a calling letter from Edith Cowan University, which is in Perth, the northern part of Perth. So agent connected us to the school. Then when the school goes through your documents as well, and everything goes well, the school gets back to you and get you what we call expression of interest form, which now they are going to able to allow you to express your interest. Then after expressing your interest, they give you COE form.
So what, when you say expression of interest, to express your interest, what do you mean?
Expression of interest simply means applying for a vacancy there, which agent is going to do for you.
Okay.
So you're just expressing your interest that I want to be a student in your school for this intake, and I'll be doing this course.
Okay.
So that one agent is able to do for you. So agent is able to communicate that with the school. So the school will get back to them and give them expression of interest. That's when agent is telling you, now pay the fees, because now we are starting the process. Because we are going to express our interest. Then when you express your interest, the school goes through your papers and give you what we call COE, confirmation of enrollment. So the confirmation of enrollment comes in after paying your fees.
Yes.
So when expression of interest has been done and the school is happy, they'll give the details of what you're going to learn. They're giving you the details of the bank accounts and how much fee you need to pay. Then that is the time you pay. After paying that, then you have the COE, confirmation of enrollment. So confirmation of enrollment is like you are now halfway going to Australia or halfway coming to Australia. Because what you only need is now to go through the visa process.
So when you talk about the school fees, so what's the rough estimate for someone who wants to come here to pay for that school fees?
Yeah. When I talk of the fees, I can tell someone who is single person, young single person who wants to come alone will need around 1 to 1.2 million to start with. Just for school fees. To start with. So school fees, tuition, and all the things, practical part of it, because nothing you have to go for practical. So when you pay that, you are able to just come. So around let's say if you are 1 to 1.2 million, you are good.
You're good.
Yes. Okay. So after paying the school fees, now the certificate of enrollment is used for you to apply for the visa.
Okay.
So that is where now the agent also helps you with visa processing. Some people can do it by themselves. There's that option of doing all this by yourself, but I can assure you most universities prefer using agents because they trust those agents, because they know agents will do background work and check their certificates before they're put into their system. So that is now when you get your COE, then you get your way to go through the visa now.
The visa process,
So the visa process is pretty much the same, except that in this stage now, the immigration is involved. So the immigration, of course, in every country, the immigration have their rules and whatever they look for. But basically, the documents used to apply for the school are the same documents they forward to immigration. So that is where now you also have to now start thinking of paying visa fees, and visa fees keep on changing. So the best way is to get the current visa fees at that moment of time.
Okay. So with the visa process application, what is there anything extra that is needed apart from maybe what you used maybe to apply after getting the COE?
Yes. After getting the COE is not visa.
Yeah,
so you have to pay visa fees.
Yeah.
Then definitely, once the immigration has checked all these things, then you also have to go for medicals,
Yep.
which is also their fee depends on what is at that moment of time.
Yep.
I think it's in US dollars, so it depends also on the currency value.
Yeah.
But what people should not forget, and this I want to put it very, very strongly and categorically, when we came, so long as you had an English average of 6,
Yeah.
you could get an enrollment in a university. But it's called Australian Health Practitioner Regulatory Authority, which is called APRA.
Yeah.
They changed their rules, so you have to score English of 7.
So before you do the application, even for the school, you need to have that English.
Exactly.
7. So is it PT or IELTS or either?
IELTS is the most standard.
Yep.
Reading, writing, listening, and speaking. 7. All the bands, and average of 7 and above. But there are some universities, some, not all, which will accept PTE, and some universities which will accept OET.
Yeah.
For this is for admission to the school.
Yeah.
So that also reminds you need to do background check on the university system and know which university also you want to go, because some will accept PTE for the enrollment, some will not. But IELTS is like every university will accept.
Yeah, that's a standard.
It's like a standard English one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now we have done the application of the visa. We have now gotten our visa. So basically, what's the rough estimate of visa application? That process of medicals and the visa application, and that's biometrics as well in between there. So what can you say? What's a rough estimate for someone who doesn't know, who doesn't have this information out there?
Okay. Visa for one individual right now for student visa is between $300 to $400. That is around 30,000.
30,000, okay.
Then medicals is around 40,000 per individual. So you need between 100,000 to know whether you can get a visa. So remember, you had already used 1.2, so another 100,000 on top. So that is giving you 1.3, but that is on the higher side. But they change, those figures do change. Remember, I didn't include the agency fee because every agency have their own charges.
Basically, I think this is all this information. The moment you get an agent who will help you, they'll be able to give you all these when it comes to the cost of every process that you'll come across.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're just doing a rough estimate. So it's not.
So these figures are not really tied to what is happening, but it's good to have a background check and rough estimate on what you may expect to pay.
So now we are now getting you've now been given your visa, granted your visa. So what's next for you?
That's the best moment of your life.
Yeah.
Once you know you have a visa, I think the rest of our things which are remaining is for you now to have your mental energy and focus more, because that is just a baby step for you now. Because remember, you are going to start afresh. Even if you are the boss at your place of work, you are the nurse in charge, or you are the unit deputy manager, now things are changing.
You're going back to school.
You are going back to school in a foreign land with different language, different culture. So once you get your visa, I will tell students this. There's always major intakes in February, and there's another intake in September. I would advise students to go for intake for September. Reason being, they have a long summer holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
So that long summer holidays give you advantage to prepare yourself fully for the second semester. If you come in February, you have a very short break, because they break in around, is it in May? Then by less than a month or so
they're back.
The
second semester.
Yes. It's either May or April. So you have like 6 weeks to go to a second semester. And of course, when you're coming from home, unless you have a very good financial background, you are also coming to sustain yourself. You're also coming to show the world that you've come here to work hard. So you're not coming here to relax, to have holidays, and also you have a very short 1-year visa, which you have to focus and get it right, because that visa is very short.
Yeah.
So if you don't get it right, even the migration will start having
Yeah,
issues with you.
it will be hard for you. So you have to be here, come here, be prepared and focused with your studies and
Yes.
yeah.
The moment you decide you want to go to a foreign country, especially first world country, you have to tighten your focus, because you are not going to find things working the same way. So you arrive there, then you start thinking. So yeah, the moment you get your visa, of course, there's excitement.
Yeah.
Utaombewa. You'll be told very good stories, and surprisingly, even those who are going to advise who have never been to this country,
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
and those who have been in this country are not willing to tell you the
Tell
truth.
you the truth, yeah.
So it's like you're going to the deep end to find your way. So of course there's excitement. Once you get your visa is not air ticket.
Yeah.
So you have to also to look for air ticket.
Air ticket, yeah.
That is like your fare. So usikule fare.
Yeah.
So you have to get the air ticket.
Yeah.
Airlines are so many. Some will charge you high fees, some will charge you less, depending also on the number of hours of the flight.
Yeah.
If you want to come quickly, you'll pay more. If you want to go through long route, of course you pay less, and it's depending on the season.
Yeah, and also it depends on the time. Maybe you are booking for the next week or
Exactly.
this week. So
yeah.
the longer maybe the time that you want to take the flight, at
Yes.
least it will be cheaper.
And that reminds me also, before we even forget, if you are applying, for example, for a school in February, you should have your visa latest by December.
Oh.
Yes. So that you have January to prepare, or you have December and January to prepare. If you're planning to go to school in September, at least even by June, you should have everything ready. So it's yours is just to take the flight, so that you don't have that pressure. But anyway, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes because of immigration rules and maybe your paperwork is delaying a little bit, you may get your visa even when the school starts. Like you get your visa after the school has opened or semester has started. Still okay, you'll still find your way, but that's still okay.
Okay. So now you've booked your flights.
Now you booked a flight, definitely. You have anxiety, butterflies in the stomach, mazee umejazwa na stress, na pia happiness. You don't know where you're going. Definitely you'll go, and somehow, if you are a nurse who has had many WhatsApp group and have been following with other people, utasikia somehow there's some nurse somewhere either in Australia or wherever. Try and reach these people.
Basically when you're going to a new place, to a foreign place, of course there are people already there. Reach out, go to Facebook,
exactly. Go to Facebook,
Instagram, you'll be able to get in touch with one or two people who are already there. So it will really be easy for you. You'll be able to catch up, and at least they give you some information on how to come here.
Very important. They'll give an idea on how to come here. There's a massive time difference. That alone will scare you. Like, for example, right now we are approaching summer and we are already 8 hours apart with Kenya. So you can imagine 8 hours apart. You are still struggling with so many things. So try and reach people. Like, I know there's connection. There's so many WhatsApp group forms in different classes. Try and expand your network. Na ndio maana inasemekana usitupe watu. Try so that at least you can contact one or two people and tell them, hey, look here, I've got this and this, how do we do this? You'll, even if you get like one or two people, someone will be able to give you a message back.
So when also, besides a lot of the accommodation
now that is now where reaching people is important, because accommodation can be 2 or 3 ways. The first way is you can connect with the school through agent back at home, and they can organize school accommodation for you, which you'll pay, of course, different from the tuition fees. Another one is if you know somebody can help you secure a house for you while you're still in Kenya. Most of the time, because of the costs and because getting houses are hard, so people will end up in shared accommodations, which is allowed in Australia, so long as it is regulated well and the agents of the houses know. The other option is, if you are having a very nice buddy who is close to you, some of them are able to host you, or even a relative
Yep.
to host you for some time when you're finding your ways. So those are the options you can go through. Some people may afford, some may not afford. Try and work on what you can work for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's so interesting. So, moving now to, you're now flying to Australia. You've gotten your tickets, getting ready to come
Umefika.
here. Umefika sasa.
Kwanza unafika, you feel like you are in a foreign land.
Yeah, confused here.
Mine I came during in summer, sorry, in January. The airport was very hot.
Yeah.
That was Perth, WA.
Yeah.
Temperature of over 30 is going to 40s.
What?
People are very few in the airport.
Yeah.
Sisi kama JKA.
Yeah.
JKA, there's so many
people. Yeah.
That airport is a small one. Like, there's less population. First of all, you go through immigration check.
Yeah.
Definitely, they'll scan your things. And by the way, usibebe omena baridi.
So you have to do the
Don't
declaration.
even, exactly. Don't even try to bring some foods or some fruits.
Yeah.
And it will be worse if you don't declare them.
Yeah.
If you carry them by mistake, when you're coming, declare them. If you don't,
you'll get the first
you'll
ticket
get
there.
the first ticket.
bill.
Yes.
At the airport.
Now I check it. You'll pay a big fine.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even have that money.
Yeah.
So just come simple. All the stuff you're thinking of, wachana nazo. Food iko huku mingi. You'll eat whatever you want, so long as you are alive. You'll work hard and eat it.
You get it.
So whatever you'll miss, you'll come back to Kenya if you want to go and visit. So yeah, you arrive there. The reception is so different. If by good chance you got a friend who is able to pick you up, that will be great.
Yep.
It will be a very starting point for you, because at least he'll tell you what is going on.
Yeah.
If you don't have a friend and you have to start from the taxi or Uber or whatever means you want to start with, it can appear rough, because most of the time tunafikanga na simu zenye tukifika hapa network, I don't know, somehow it doesn't work.
Yeah, I came with Q-bots.
Yeah. We have phones which most of the phones are not here. You try to use these phones here, they don't work out for you. So if you have Safaricom or Airtel or whichever line you are using, remember you reach here, it will only be on roaming. So it will be very, very hard for you to communicate. So if you get somebody who can guide you through this, that is the best way. Then you get your accommodation, definitely. You'll be scared. The smell is different.
Everything
is, taste of water is different. Food is different. Ila nyama umezaa kukula Kenya, when it come here, it tastes so different. Mboga is so different. So everything gets
traffic
different.
is different. Everything is like it's in a rush.
Everything is in a rush. And there are not so many people to show you what you want to do. You should either know it, or if you don't know it, struggle to get the answer.
Okay, now you're now in Australia, you're now starting your classes. So maybe is it the same thing that you learned back in Kenya, or they are a bit different?
Okay, so for my case, I did a different course because I had my degree from nursing. But for someone who has done diploma, it is a tough one, because we went through this journey with my wife and she was the one doing it. So definitely there's not so much difference, but there's part of Australian culture that you don't know. They have to take you through that. And these systems and their nature of work is so student oriented. They're really focusing on your knowledge and how much you are able to gain from the studies. They're not really result oriented. So they are really focusing on how much can you gain and how well can you be prepared to go and work out there.
Field,
So there's a lot of engagement with students, which is quite good. And there's a lot of student work assessments. So you mostly do most of the thing by yourself. And it feels like a university. Like you have to learn many things by yourself. They have resources. They have everything you need. So you have no problem. If you go to library, it's well equipped. They have very, very well equipped IT sector for students, and they are very, very up to date. So it is well equipped, well resourced. The only challenge is you. How prepared are you to fit in that system of learning? So most subjects or units or whichever way you want to call them is not so different. Just the pharmacology, which we do, anatomy and physiology, which we do. There's also part of a very serious one, critical thinking, or how to take care of a deteriorating patient. For nurses who they may have an idea, which we do as well, but they do it on another level here, and they want to ensure that you are able to demonstrate that you do it. So apart from just theory, there's also skills lab, which you have to practice those skills. Then of course there's also clinical practice, which you have to go through, where you go to the hospitals and try and show those skills. And you have preceptors in clinical areas, so they'll follow you up. Like, I understand and I know in Kenya is quite different. Here preceptors have to follow you up every week. If you're in clinical area, you have to give feedback and you have to write something about it, and you have to think on how you can improve on what you've done. So it's quite different.
Okay. Good. So that's really an interesting topic. So you've now done your studies. So do you, when it comes to the placements, are they exactly the same things? Maybe for someone who was back in Kenya, are they similar things that you'll get it back in the field, or they might be a bit different for them?
Yeah, I'm laughing because it's not the same. It's not the same. First of all, they do what we call team nursing sometimes. Other places they do team nursing. Other places they don't do team nursing. Other places there is a situation where you are given your load, your patient load, and you do everything for them. But the ratio is quite good. Kenya, you can't even tell the ratio sometimes, because Kenya, you don't even have to say the beds are full and we can't admit anymore. So long as a space can be found. Though I didn't get this in the military, though. In military, when the bed was full, they had to find an option. But our public system, where most of us are working from, I know it's quite challenging. You find a bed capacity, a ward capacity of maybe 50 beds, have as far as almost 90 or 100 or double. So here, the bed capacity is very important, and the patient number or the patient to staff ratio is very important. So mostly it's 1 to 4 in the morning for most general wards, like medical surgical wards. Then maybe critical area you have 1 to 1 or 1 to 2 depending on the situation. Then in the afternoon 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. Then in the evening, of course, is 1 to 8 or 1 to 10. That is for the night shift. So that is also a different thing. Equipment wise, so different. So different. Things like machines for checking blood pressures and everything, it like every bed has their own, or every room for that matter. So you don't really share with many people. Things like ECG, these are basic things that are done in the wards, which in our country, Kenya, is quite different. Like, especially in the public, I know it's very, very difficult to even do ECG for many patients. Here, things like ECG are things which are just done randomly. It's part of the medical assessment or nursing assessment or anything you need when the patient changes condition or something. Staff-wise, I won't lie to you, it's easy because English is quite too much. Accent is the problem. What we are taught in Kenya is not how they speak. They speak so quickly, so you really have to struggle to get it. First months and first days, and it is just very tough. So they're not able to hear what you're saying, and you're also not able to hear what they're telling you. So it's like, pardon, sorry, what did you just say? So it gets frustrated. So some staff may even ignore you. Not because they want, but because they realize you're not able to communicate well. So nurses maze, jaribu English. Try many times as much as you can to read English. The IELTS you do, it's just to pass exam. But the practical part of it is so different. Then Australia has their own English and their own way of slangs. Some things will pass you. So those are the challenges, of course.
So now you're done with your studies. what's next for someone? Maybe you are now done with your maybe that year of studies and
Okay, this is the point. So remember, I told you the visa is 1 year,
yeah,
and you have 1 year to prove that you are able to graduate,
yeah,
and 1 year to pay your fees, which is probably another 1.2 million in the next
the
semester.
next semester.
So you need roughly 2.4 million tuition only to help you graduate.
Clear that, yeah.
And you have to pay rent. Huku rent tunalipa weekly, my friends, weekly.
Yeah.
Or you can agree to pay every 2
Every
weeks,
2 weeks, yeah, fortnightly.
fortnightly. And you have to use means of transport.
Yeah.
So most likely people have to look for cars to drive them from point A to point B. Otherwise, you won't manage to navigate school, work, and maybe going for shopping and just trying to survive.
Yeah.
So you really need to come quickly, think on how to even buy a cheap car. Many students come down, they buy cheap cars to start them off. Don't mind, so long as it's a good car.
That's one thing I love about Australia.
Yes.
Cars are very cheap.
Cars are very
Cars
cheap.
are very cheap.
Yes.
Yeah, you get a car for $1,000.
Exactly.
$800.
Exactly.
Even there are some you can get someone who will give you a car for
For
free.
free, yes.
Yeah, so it's
Ukiangukia,
easy,
you
yeah.
get a car for free.
Yeah.
And Australians are very good in helping people who are seeking for that
Yeah,
help.
exactly, yeah.
They'll accommodate you. They'll give you, if you just ask for what you need, they'll somehow give you direction. This is what you need to do here. This is what you need to do here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of paperwork if you are new, because there's that police clearance
Yeah,
thing.
so many things.
So many things that you can only do when you are here. So you've finished your school, you have graduated, visa is almost ending.
Yeah.
Most people do this. There are two options. One very first option that comes is for you to look for another school to extend your visa for like 2 years. So you can go for a postgrad diploma in maybe occupational health,
Yep.
postgrad diploma in infection control, something that can be related to your line of study. So that at least it gives you 2 years to look for a way to expand your visa.
So basically, what I think Kevin is saying, you can't be given graduate visa
On a 1 year study. Yes.
You're supposed to have studied for 2 years.
At least 2 years.
At least 2 years for you to qualify for that graduate visa.
And graduate visa is simply a 2-year visa which helps you to work.
Yeah.
And you don't need to go to school to work.
Yep,
Yes.
yeah.
So you've studied for 2 years, at least 2 years, then your government gives you another 2 years to just work as you settle now.
You settle, at least if you're able to find maybe a job here, that will be good. If you're not able, you'll be given 2 years to work, and then if you wanna go back home, that will be up to you.
Yes, so that is why if you come as a diploma or KRCHN or KRN from Kenya, you go for 1 year visa, you really need to be very quick to start thinking on extending the visa when it's almost ending. Don't wait until it has expired.
And what you'll do after finishing the
So
studies.
when you get your studies, of course, when you start your graduation process, you are also allowed to apply for your registration as a nurse.
After that 1 year.
After that 1 year.
Okay.
So you can be registered by the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Authority. APRA.
Yep.
So APRA is able to start the process of registering you to practice as RN in Australia.
Okay. So with that registration, does it after you've cleared your studies, you qualify to apply for that?
Even before you clear. So long as you are 6 weeks before graduating, you are eligible to apply.
Okay.
So when you are doing maybe your last practicals, you are eligible to apply for a registration. So it's a process. It takes like a month or two. So they're happy for you to start earlier.
Okay.
So just drop it there. I advise anybody who wants to come, drop it early.
Yeah.
Because that means you're going to save much time when you finish your education.
Yeah.
So if you're remaining like with the 2 months, you're already doing your prac and you're just thinking of graduation and things are moving so quickly. Think on how you can get another visa.
Yeah.
And that means you can go for, most people choose to go for postgrad diploma, or you can go for a master's if you have money and you want to go further your studies. You are allowed to do that. You can apply for master's in the same university or different university.
Okay.
Don't worry about the agent now. You can do it yourself here.
Yeah.
Or you can use agent within Australia.
Australia.
So you don't need to use your agent back at home. The reason is you are trying to have eligible visa for you to continue being in Australia because you don't want your visa to expire. Immigration will knock you out the following day.
Yeah, I know.
And you'll go back and you'll not come back again.
Okay.
So you can choose that way. Another option, which is also working as of now because there's so many few nurses, is you may get employers who are ready to sponsor you.
Okay, sponsorship. Yeah.
But the challenge is they need you to get your registration first.
Okay.
Because they can't sponsor you as a nurse if you're not registered.
Yeah.
So that can be coming, but a very tricky one because the timeline is very tight for you.
Okay.
So if you don't want to risk that, go for a shorter 2 years visa.
Yeah.
Then get that visa. When you get it, it's just a postgrad diploma or a master's. You by 1 year you shall have known how system works. You can plan for your work and for your studies. Then in the process you can look for that sponsorship.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Wow. Wow, I believe that's really a very interesting topic, and I believe that has been really informative. And so thank you very much for watching, and look out for part 2 of this video as we shall be giving you more information on that.
Yes. Welcome every nurse who is ambitious and plans to come to Kenya. Utatupata tu ni sisi tuko kwa ground.
Yeah.
Then enjoy and think of it. You can watch the video. Don't fail to subscribe, man, and get that information. And if you have any comment or any clarity, we are able to clarify.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you.